day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that would be huge. That's money in the bank for
athletic
program.
Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million. September to August, let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Well, happy Wednesday, rather. Say happy Monday. I don't know why I thought it was Monday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Special guest Wednesday. Oh, man. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Our ladies softball team is in a battle right now. Top of the 8th. I think we just got hold on the call. I think it was a double play, and then they called it a foul play or something. That's bogus, though, in my opinion. I thought that was a double play. Now we're down 1 run. We're down 3-2. We still get the bat. But overall, pretty good so far. What's going on, Brother Tim? How you doing, man? Zoe and TD should be up. Today we do have a special guest today. We're going to have our SID on. I know he's working. I mean, we're supposed to have him on at some point, but we're waiting for this softball game to end. But as we get ready to get the show jumped off, y'all make sure as you come in, you hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're not a channel subscriber. It's free. It's free to be a subscriber. Make sure you turn your notification bells on and join the channel. Become a channel member. You know, click the link in the description and click the link to join the channel. Every membership helps. Shout out to all those platinum members out there. Be sure to continue to support at whatever level you guys feel is doable for you. We greatly appreciate it all, man. But we do have a great action-packed show today. What's going on? Ken. It's Ken. Who what did it do? Kendrick. Only Kendrick I know is Kendrick Lamar. That boy out there doing his thing, man. I started to do a reaction video, but that's not my lane. I know a lot of the reactors. I'm sorry. I just got a little frustrated with that call. I thought we had a double play, and I think they just hold us, man. I hate that. I mean, we got the out. It just the ball was not bouncing in bounds. I don't understand that. That's right, GA. Man, straight bars, man. It's an interesting thing happening with this little rap beef, man. I think it's over for now. I think, I don't think Drake anticipated that everybody would be dancing and crip walking, calling him a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty tough that's enough to take a hit. I saw something. Yeah, that was a legit double play, man. I'm frustrated with that, man. I really am. The game is on YouTube. I got it on my cell phone right here, man. And I'm trying not to, be frustrated because it just seems like we always seem to get the short end of the stick sometimes with these terrible ass SWAC referees and SWAC officials, man. And now we got to dig our way out of it. It's 1 out, 2 on base, top of the 8th, man. So we got to go let our bats got to go do what they do, but we're going into the thinner part of our lineup. So we got to get some points on the board, but we got to get them out. 1 out is 1-1 count. We got a runner on first and second. And doing your walk bumping the, man, I've been listening to Not Like Us all day, man. I mean, it's jamming. I mean, that's a West Coast bop right there, man. It's vibing. For those that don't know, we're talking about the Not Like Us track. That was a real smart strategy, man. When you think about it, you think about the strategy that he took and the angles that he took. He did a little bit of everything on that in his back. He showed you his range and all that good stuff. So, but nevertheless, as I stated, man, we're gonna have our SID on. official title for Travis Deron is Associate Athletic Director for Public Relations and Sports Media at JSU. He'll be on with us tonight. Again, we appreciate all of our sponsors. ShotRx, we appreciate AutoMasters. AutoMasters, make sure if you're looking for a vehicle, man, go to www.automasters06.com. You can give them a shout, 601-927-7794. Give them a shout, man. Make sure you go on the website, check out the inventory. And if they don't have what you want or what you're looking for, you can definitely the fuck are you doing? What are you patting the ball for? Like what are you patting the ball for? Like I'm lost, just what are you doing? Wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. This game got me a little sideways real quick, man. She's out. She's out. What are you talking about? She's out. They said it was safe. I hope they go to the replay. Anyway, make sure you go check it out. I also want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Canyon Toyota Vicksburg. Shout out to Billy, Clay, and Greg over there. Didn't even tag third. It's just it's getting. I don't know, man. We're in a tight game right now. You can't have those mistakes like that. So it should be 2 outs right now. Okay, good thing. They got it corrected. But anywho, again, we're gonna have Travis on tonight, and like I said, Zoe and TD should be joining us here in a little bit. We'll bring him on at the 15-minute mark. But nevertheless, man, it's we're in the second round of the softball tournament. We beat Southern 8-3 in order to get to the second round. We're in a battle versus Alabama State, and like I said, if you guys are following along, obviously if you're watching us, you're probably not able to, but it's top of the ninth, 3-2. Oh my gosh, man. They finna score again. We just falling apart right now. 5-2. We just gave it 3 runs. Yeah, I think we're gonna take a L on this one, man. That double play kind of hurt us. I think we should have that's a bad call there, man. And that's usually what happens when you don't get your calls. You tend to fall in a hole, in a rut or something. And now we're just kind of unraveling right now. 5-2, still 2 outs to go. They swinging their bats, man. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But nevertheless, shout out to the baseball team. We did do it. We handled business. Clean sweep against Valley. Get ready to close the season out. We proud of them and all their efforts. Played through the weekend. We did have a co-hitter of the week, player of the week. Of course, the SWAC player of the week does have other players on there, but we focus on our player, and we want to send a huge shout out to Miles White, Jr. out of Mobile, Alabama, for being co-hitter of the week. Keep up the good work there. And we'll get into some football recruits after our interview with Travis, but we'll bring him on in a couple of minutes, man. So y'all, if you got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Looking forward to this conversation with Travis, and we'll get the ball rolling here in just a little bit. I am a little frustrated. I got to shake that off, man. I hate it. I hate that, man, because I really feel like we should have been batting and not. But now we got to go get these points back, man. We got to go get them back now. Unfortunately, we got out 5-2, bottom of the 8th. We got to go score 4 runs or at least 3 to keep the game going. If we don't score 3 runs, we are done for it. And we'll play Prairie View tomorrow in the losers bracket. If we lose, if we win, we play FAMU in the winners bracket. So that's what's at stake right now. We split games with Alabama State this season. We won 2 out of 3 in Montgomery, and we lost 2 out of 3 at home. So it's right down the middle, kind of an even team. I mean, we were right there. 2-2 going into the end of the regular innings and going to extra innings, and that's kind of what happens. You got to have some things fall your way when it's postseason and it's tournament play. So got to make that happen, man. I said Eastern Michigan have any linebackers in port. I mean, we fine on linebackers, man. We got plenty of linebackers that are committed We just got to get everybody in and get them on campus at the right time. So, but other than that, DD, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, you got it, brother. You got it. Everybody coming on in. We're going to add Travis here in just a minute. What's up with you, man?
What's up, bro? What's up, TD? What's up, Be I Love family?
What's up, Zoe? What's up, Tiger Nation? What's popping?
Nothing much, man. How was everybody day today? Everybody have a good day today?
Yeah, it was good. Just got a little frustrated watching that softball game. That's why it's always easier to just keep up with it by keeping up with the score, man. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and bring Travis on, man. As we stated, we appreciate him for joining us tonight. Like I said, came to us from Alabama State. He's been with us for a few months, and we're happy to have him at Jackson State, man. And pretty excited to talk about his vision for JSU athletics, the media, and all the things. He's already starting to make some changes. I mean, if you go to this particular graphic, we talked about that today. This co-hitter graphic is a graphic that we use. If you guys are familiar, this is the same kind of format and the template that we use for our new head women's basketball coach, Margaret Richards. Really good, clean look. I like it. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring him on up. Travis, what's up, baby?
What's up, fellas? How are y'all?
What's up, Trav?
We're good, man. We appreciate you for joining us.
No, I appreciate it. I'm kind of glancing to the right because I'm Ken. I'm like you. I've been watching this game, and you know how I feel about it because of who we're playing. So I'm kind of, I kind of want to throw my monitor across the room right now.
Oh my God, this shit is frustrating, man. I'm telling you, it's okay. We're gonna get through it though. But 3-2, we can pull it off, man. I'm gonna hope that we're gonna pull it off. And come on, Coach Montgomery. We need them Tigers to fight back. It's full count right now. We'll see what happens though, man. But we appreciate you for joining us tonight, man. We talked about this. We talked about getting you on for quite some time, and we're happy you had the time. I was a little worried. I thought you'd probably be in Gulfport, but we're glad to have you on, man.
Yeah, well, that 5.5 hour drive round trip got me yesterday and sitting in the sun. So I opted out today, and plus because of who we're playing, I felt it was best for me. It was best for me to stay here tonight and then go back down tomorrow.
I've been all day. Listen, before we really get into it, I told you this when you first got on campus, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say it to you again in front of everybody, because I made the point that when you first made the announcement first made that you were coming, you put a tweet out, and I told you that, man, we talk about, our fan base, and we talk about things that we want and how people complain. You remember? And I commended you then. I want to commend you now, but also, again, raise the temperature to our fan base that, again, this is somebody who's transparent, that's taking ideas. And, we always say everybody has an opinion and everybody's easy to give a complaint. Well, when the first thing that Trav did was give me ideas, and he did that on the public platform. Look at Austin. And he was like, and Travis came in hit the ground running, asking for ideas, asking for suggestions, and saying, hey, give them to me. And again, everybody has something to say. And again, the fact that he came in on day one and do that, to me, it spoke a lot of, what your intentions are, because I talk about intentionality a lot here with our fan base and, and that athletics as well. And for you to do that, I salute you then. I want to salute you publicly. And again, JSU Nation, again, instead of griping, if you have a suggestion, anything that you want to see done, man, DM him, send him a message. You know what I'm saying? Because again, a closed mouth don't get fed. And the fact that he actually came out with that, I want to salute him, because that was real big.
No, and I appreciate it. I talked to Ken about it earlier today. Some of the stuff that was in there, didn't really expect to see some of the stuff that's out of my control. Mm-hmm. But to see it helped, because I can relay messages if I need to relay messages. some of the stuff you kind of shake your head about and like, hey, I get it, but some of the stuff is just not feasible. But other stuff, I'll just say this because I know it's going to come up in conversation later. If you see those things, don't take credit for them. Those things have already been in the works. Those things have already been planned out. We're getting through the end of May, and my target date is July 1 for everything. So, you know, the D I Love family is fanatical, to say the least.
Yeah.
Unhinged at times.
It wasn't even the fact of opening my DMs. It's he was and said, "This is what I'm wearing to Connecticut the night before," and got 21,000 impressions on it within 24 hours. Is what threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
Good.
man. We definitely have a rabid fan base, and man, I look. Sometimes I look out on Twitter and I'll be like, "Nope, not today." I got pulled into some stuff today. I'm like, man, I have been like really trying to avoid certain things and just kind of stay locked in. But before we even get into questions, Travis, what we want to do is for those that may not really fully understand your role, let's talk about just kind of do a quick professional intro. Just kind of, I guess, if you want to run down your pedigree and what you were doing and what kind of led to the opportunity of seeing you come to Jackson. Let's go.
Hold on a second. We got
to go.
Do they call that fair or foul?
Hold on, man. That better be fair.
Fair.
Come on, bro. Don't hold us there. They already hold us on one call now. Hold on. I'm sorry.
No, that's foul.
That's foul. I'm sorry.
All right, so back to the answer. This is the problem. Look, this is the problem we have having me on when we're playing.
Oh no, this is normal. This is normal.
With whether I'm there or not, because me
to 9:45. I apologize. Look, my bad, man.
No. By me not being there, I can actually cheer. If I'm there, I can't do this. So I'm kind of sitting on my hands. But you know, I backed my way into this back in, golly, I'm about to date myself, 2003. I was finishing up college. I was a full-time student. I just got done playing soccer. Was helping out in the sports information office, and I've been helping out my whole college career. The guy left. The sports information director left in December. So January came. They put it out for a job. February came. They started interviewing in March. Well, I was interning. So I'm going to elementary schools and junior highs and high schools during the day. I'm working a 40-hour job. I'm engaged to be married on May 31st. Graduation is on May 10th.
Wow.
The baseball coaches at AUM, QV and Marty Lovich, who I owe my entire career to, went to the AD mid-March and said, "Why don't you just give it to Travis?" Not something I wanted to do for a career. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. And I dabbled in it a little bit, so I took about 6 months away, but they offered me the job. I graduated May 10th. I got married May 31st. My first day officially at work was June 1st. I didn't really start working until after the honeymoon. And then stayed at AUM for a couple of years, got out of it, dabbled in the coaching, teaching profession, but college athletics has a way of drawing you back in. Moved to Georgia to help a school transition from NAI to D2. Got my first D1 opportunity at Troy, worked there for 4 years, stepped out again on a limb I didn't think I was going to get an opportunity. I put my name in a hat to interview for a high school AD job just to see where I stood, to see what I needed to learn for future. I mean, I was still young, and ended up going through 5 rounds of interviews and got the job and was an AD for 3.5 years at one of the largest private high schools in the state of Alabama, which if anybody's listening, your first job as an AD, don't ever do it at a private school. Make sure you get a public school job. Don't ever get it at a private school, because when you have parents coming to you saying, "I basically pay your salary," it changes your outlook on life.
Wow.
You know. But again, college athletics called me back. You know, in 14, I got my first taste of HBCUs in 14 at Tuskegee. Worked there, got an opportunity, got a phone call while I was at Tuskegee to go to Alabama State. We just tied this mug up, or did we win? Oh, no, tied it up. Sorry. 5-5, just so y'all know. In case anybody's lagging, I actually got the live feed. I'm not watching.
Oh, home run! Dude. You watching it? Woo, home run, baby.
So I got my first taste of HBCUs at Tuskegee. Got a phone call to go to Alabama. Asked me if I wanted to go to Alabama State. Ruben Perez, I said Alabama A&M now called me and said there's an opportunity. You want to go back to Division I? I said yes. Took the opportunity at Alabama State. Went to South Alabama for a year. Had some family stuff I had to come home and deal with. Ashley Robinson called me the day before signing day. Then Elise called me the same night. So needless to say, when I had 3 hours of phone conversations with the top 2 people in the athletic department, I was sold. I got the call the next Monday, and then the rest is history. I mean, so I've been around the block a few times, been at different levels, been at different institutions, learned a lot, built some relationships that are helping change the way we do things and the looks that we're going to do. So don't be surprised when you see different things come out just because of being around different places.
Awesome. We'll start with TD on questions. We'll go from there.
Good evening, Travis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm doing really well now that we're tied at 5-5.
Yeah, I see. We hadn't physically met before. My name is Tarante.
Okay.
So it's good to meet you on screen. We're glad to have you here, first of all. It's been my understanding that you live in the hospitality that we bring here at Tiger Nations. So I see that you have a pretty quick, extensive resume. You know,
I've been around the block a few times.
Been around the block a few times. Okay, so I take it that you said that you ended up on the phone with AD Robinson and Elise. So how did that end up happening? Did you put in for a job, or how did that happen?
Truth be told, I don't think I've put in for a job since 2014.
Wow.
No, I take that back. I have put in for some and interviewed for some. I've turned 3 down because they didn't fit. Tuskegee was really the last time that I really pursued and accepted on the pursuit. You know, I really, and I said it jokingly, but I meant it. You know, when I was talking to AD Robinson, I said, "What took you so long?" Because when you're in the HBCU world, there's at the 2 levels, Division I and Division II. Mm-hmm. When you're looking at Division II, there's one school that stands out, and it's Tuskegee because of the history and tradition. Well, that's why I started my HBCU world off. At the Division I level, and people are going to hate outside of Jackson State, but there's one school at the Division I HBCU level that stands out based on history and tradition, and it's Jackson State. You know, and I never got caught up in the he said, she said world of we're going to go at each other. I stepped back and I looked and watched and learned. Mm-hmm. But just the history and the pedigree, the you know, just the stories that can be told, you know, and having somebody like a Sam Jefferson that I can ask questions to. And I had that with Arnold Houston at Tuskegee. It was a no-brainer. You know, so to say I put in, I mean, you can say I put in about 4 years ago when I told him if he ever needed anything, he could call me. And if saying putting it in is telling Trey Johnson and Mo Williams and Tamika Reed and Kevin Montgomery that all he's got to do is call me, I put in for it. I'll say that. I'll say that. When everything was going on, and I said, if y'all were still looking for somebody, all he's got to do is call.
Sound like some interest was there. And
the interest has always been there. And she's safe, by the way. The interest has always been there. It's just it was just a matter of.
So Mr. Jarome, I'd like to bag up one real quick second. For those who don't know, what exactly is your title and what exactly do you do?
Do I have to give you the long version of the title? Because this one's pretty long compared to what
it is.
It's
multi-layered.
It's Associate Athletic Director for Public Relations and Sports Media. Anything that comes out for Jackson State, other than what Austin does on the football side, basically comes from us. However, we've gotten an understanding now that we're going to collab a little bit.
Yep.
So I know he's sitting. So go ahead, Austin, put it out there. We're going, and so website, social, stories, streaming, graphics,
Love it.
all falls under me.
Awesome. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, being that you're not new with the SWAC, you're very familiar coming from Alabama State, but just from afar, being there and knowing that you're familiar with the conference, what small nuances have you noticed at Jackson State being, coming over from Alabama State?
Honestly, just the way, and I'll say this because I know there's probably some Alabama State people on here, because when you put it out, I still have people that love me at Alabama State. There's still some there. There's some that hate me now, but that's cool. Just the way people are, it's the way, and I know, quote unquote, I'm on the honeymoon phase still, so I know things will change, but it's just the way people present themselves. They come up and they talk, and they genuinely care. They genuinely, hey, do you need something? I'm here to help you. What can I do to help you? It's the same. The stuff with the coaches are the same. I've never had a bad relationship with a coach at any level, any institution I've ever been at, and that hasn't changed here because I knew 90% of them before I got here.
Anyway, yeah.
The only two coaches I didn't know were tennis and track. Well, met tennis and track. We're all here now. I mean, it's one of those where, if I'm being truly, truly honest, the 2 months I've been here, I haven't had a chance to sit down and think about anything. I haven't taken a breath until today. And really, I didn't take a big breath today because, I didn't go to Gulfport, but we did a sit down with Rob J and Coach Richards today. And then I'm watching the game. So and I was working on football stuff. So there's really not been a day where I just have said, okay, I'm done for the day. Like, I'm shutting everything off. I don't know how to do that. And I do know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it when I'm trying to build things to a point that
ball game.
Yes,
ball
sir.
Game. Ooh, ball game. All right,
I promise. No, I promise. So look. I promise. Just so y'all know, I promise I'm gonna be nice tonight. I'm not gonna get on social as much as I really want to. I'm not gonna get on social. I'm gonna get on there.
I'm gonna get on there for you.
No. Make sure you do it. I'm gonna stay off because I'm trying to be nice. But I'm about to shoot a text to Gulfport and say what I need to say. Y'all. I know you do, but you really don't understand how happy this makes me right now. Y'all have no clue how happy this makes me. And I love Todd Bradley to death. Todd Bradley, the head coach of Alabama State, who, by the way, they call Kevin Bradley the whole broadcast, which made me feel even better, came behind me yesterday and tried to have a conversation with me. And he goes, I can't even talk to him. He said he made it even worse because he's wearing white today. And I turned around and I said, yeah, but it says JSU across the front. Good luck.
Wow.
Just turned back around about my business. And Andrew Roberts from the conference office started laughing. I was like, man, I said, I'm trying to turn the page. My daughter said, go start over. Get away, start fresh, forget about it. Elise has told me, put all that stuff in the past, let it go. So I'm trying to turn that page. And so now stuff like this really makes me happy because the page has been turned and I'm dying laughing on the inside, just so y'all know.
Somebody got your old school, huh?
I have nothing against Alabama State. I love Dr. Ross. I love Jason Cable. I love Jose Vasquez. I love Tony Madlock. I love 90% of the people there, but there's just some things that I wish nothing but the best to them in the losers bracket against PV tomorrow because they're going to need
it. Ken, go ahead.
Hey, listen.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off. I know those.
All right, my energy has been reset. I was a little perturbed a little bit about that double play.
Yeah, so Ken, hold on before you go. Just so y'all two know, before y'all got on, I was backstage. Ken's energy almost made me have to log off.
That's normal.
I
You be having the anxiety, man. That's normal.
No, that was it. I mean, as soon as I got backstage, he dropped a couple of things. I was like, oh, so we're gonna have that kind of show tonight.
It was. I hate refs, man. I hate these swag refs, man. And they got it. They did what they did, or whatever. And
we did what we needed to do. We took care of one game from them twice.
That game is dead to me now. We won.
Walk off to the bottom of the 8th, man.
It's not dead to me. Hey, wait, it's not dead to me because of who we beat. So we can. You don't have to make that thing dead now.
Not like that. I meant just whatever happened prior to the 6-5 victory. I don't care no more. We won. That's all I want. I'm good with that. But no, I fully understand that though, Travis. We didn't really fully understand your perspective from that. I'll say it this way: we're happy to have you. I mean, we definitely needed
very much so.
Fill this role, and we feel like we got one of the best, if not the best, in the conference. And I just know that we're right in the. I don't have a better word to use, but we're primed for the next level, and I don't mean that. We talked about that today, and it's actually appropriate because one of the things I mentioned to you was like, how do we? I had some ideas, and I'm happy that Austin is in the fold. Of course, he was my recommendation for football, but my thing was I wanted to see it spread across the board, and I love the just the camaraderie you guys already have. I think that the media personalities, those that are going to be needing to get credentials and things from Jackson State, will be a lot more fluid in the future. I mean, I think they'll appreciate that a lot more because I think it would be an understatement to say that things weren't a little difficult at times, and I think some stuff was just difficult unnecessarily, whatever that. So I'm happy that you're here, and I don't really care about what Alabama State feel about it. But what I don't really have a question. I guess my thing is like I want to talk about your vision for JSU athletics, how you found this, kind of your 30, 60, 90. 30 is past, but you kind of your short
60 is in 2 days.
60, yeah, what I said. We might need to I'm gonna just say short term. But really, your overall vision for where we are, because I was telling you earlier today, so everyone can understand my perspective on what I was talking about. I mentioned the rap battle, Zoe, and you appreciate this. I would not the battle itself, but I was talking about how being a fan of Kendrick, he was going up against this big mega star, and Drake is by far one of the biggest artists in the world, but because of this battle, it opened the door for a lot he got some new eyes on him that he probably didn't get. Likewise, us being Jackson State, when our previous head coach came, and that's just something that TD asked initially when he first joined the platform in the group on the shows regularly, was how do we maintain some of those eyes that we have already? Because when we stopped feeding the masses, the media that we were feeding them because of our previous coach, how do we take that momentum, mix it with our brand, and then take it in a different direction? I thought Austin came in and done a pretty damn good job of, really giving us something. But I wanted to get your perspective on where you found us, mixed with your vision, and kind of speak to what's to come.
Yeah. Outside looking in, you really never know internally what things are, how they are. So looking from the outside in, before Prime got to Jackson and before FAM joined the conference, my staff, you'll find out first and foremost, I don't take credit for anything, and people get mad at me because they're like, but it's you. I was like, but it's not me. It's the people I surround myself with that make me look good. And when I get the credit publicly, they get it privately, and then I make sure they get it publicly. All that being said, before Prime joined Jackson and FAM joined the conference, Alabama State socially was at the top of the conference. When Prime joined the conference, I knew then we weren't going to be able to compete. I said, so we need to turn the page and we need to figure out what we need to do to be us. And then when FAM joined, it was just like, let's just keep plugging, keep doing what we're doing. So, obviously when he was here, things took off rather quickly, and it affected the other programs. When he left, things kind of started backpedaling. And I hate to say this, but they started backpedaling a lot quicker than they should have.
Right.
You started losing interest. You started losing people. You started losing stuff being posted. You started losing stories that could have been told. And that's just from me being on the outside looking in, but I took advantage of it because then it became an Alabama State versus FAM thing. And it's not really a competition. It's what are you doing that we're not doing that we can do better?
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, me and Josh Padilla are really good friends. And we trade ideas. Like I will ask him questions when we go to FAM, or I'll send him a text and ask him what he's doing because I was trying to figure some things out. What we did at Alabama State and what we're going to start incorporating here, when COVID hit, we had to become real strategic about what we did because there weren't any sports going on. Mm-hmm. So we started the Hornet Nation Unfiltered podcast, where we interview past coaches, past athletes, current coaches, and unknowingly it took off. The sad part is I was on camera. The second thing we did is we started a series called Unplugged. And now that everybody on campus knows that I broke every COVID rule known to mankind at Alabama State, because it was me, Renardo Smith, Jay Sanders, and then Jordan Benson when Jordan came in. And whatever coach we did for Unplugged, all of those are recorded on campus during COVID. So we told some stories then with coaches. We're going to do that here. That series is mine. We've already got the graphic changed over. Alabama State can keep it, but the series, I came up with the series. And we transformed that into student athletes this year, and we started telling those. We did 4. And they were really good because we ended all 4 of them by what are you going to remember most about Alabama State when you leave? So it became a recruiting tool. So those things compared to what Jackson State used to do and now what Austin is doing and what we're about to do will change the landscape of where we are and where we're going to go and the conference.
So Trey,
what you got?
Trey, I wanted to ask you, excuse me.
No, you're fine. I can sit here and talk all night. I got plenty of time.
Yes, sir. That's fine. But I wanted to ask you, upon your introduction, you said that, you wanted to know what took JSU so long to reach out to you. So now that you've been reached out to, what was your first thought or change that you wanted to make, improvements that you noticed from a distance that you wanted to change immediately?
Honestly, when you see things from the outside in, it's one thing until you get on the inside and see how it truly is. Without giving a whole lot away, I mean, we're changing little nuances here and there that some people have noticed, some people haven't. We changed the look of the graphics that weren't supposed to come out until July 1. That fresh look was the July 1 unveil. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the look across the board for the rest of the year. But just being more consistent.
This look right across all sports.
Yeah, and being more consistent in what we do. So what you're going to see, and some people will be like, man, I don't want to see that, but we're going to win or lose. Starting July 1, win or lose, there's going to be a graphic up. Win or lose.
I like that.
I mean, because we can't just be a front runner because we're not going to be undefeated in every sport.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand that if you're going to do it, you got to do it right, win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been at some places that we lost a lot, but we still did it. I've been places where sports were 3-27, but we still did it 27 times when we lost.
Let me throw something in there real quick, Travis. Is that because I almost feel like you just answered the question that I always had that I never asked, because I noticed every time we did lose in some sports, we never did do it. And that was a glaring inconsistency. And I'm like you. I want to tell the story whether we win or lose, because if we lose, that gives us an opportunity to talk about it. So you just answered something that I appreciate.
Go ahead, I can tell you this, and to Ken, to your point, it's going to be a lot easier for us to update graphics. We're changing the way we're going to do it. Everything is going to be pre-built. We're going to be able to do it from our phones. So we won't have to go sit at a computer and put the graphic out an hour later. It will be simultaneous. As soon as the third out is made, as soon as the clock goes off, we can hit it on our phone, put it in, and be done, win or lose. Now, if we get beat really, really bad, it'll be just type. And that's a choice that I make, because if it's really bad, sometimes you don't put that kind of graphic out, because it's like Valley in Utah a couple years ago. Valley put out that 135-40 basketball game. They put a graphic out. Why on earth you put a graphic out that you got beat by near 100? I have absolutely no idea.
What was it? Texas State 77-43.
Yeah, but to the point of things that I saw before, I don't like to look at a lot of things and make change on the outside. Now, I do have a long laundry list of stuff that we're going to change. My first two and a half weeks here, which I was doing a lot of running because I had orientation, then the next day I had a baseball game, then the next day I was on a plane, then the next weekend was Easter, then the next week was baseball, and it just kept going. So I was just making looks, making change based on the looks of things I was seeing. I get to hire another staff member. The streaming is going to change. Sweet. I'm not trying to give a whole lot away. I'm just trying to give you little tidbits, because I don't want to give a lot away until we get close, because I don't want people getting antsy and being like, okay, when's it coming out? Because some of this stuff may not come out right on July 1. But to tell you that there are a couple things that are going to change, I don't want to sit here and tell you a lie. There's a lot that's going to change.
So when you say streaming, we went to the JSU football page. We went to the JSU website. I mean, what? And are you? We're across the board. We're looking. I'll tell you this summer, I'm going around with somebody from IT. I'm going around with Dr. Scott. I'm going around with another individual to look at all of our facilities. What do we need to be at a high level stream? My whole goal is to put us in a situation that 3 to 5 years from today, that we will be in a better spot. So when a phone call gets made, we can be the first to do something that hasn't been done at our level. And if it means before 3 to 5 years, then that's what happens. I've got long-term goals. I'm putting them on paper to give to AD Robinson and AD Wells, but a lot of those are staying behind closed doors until it's time, only because I don't want to go public with them with this fan base. And then it doesn't happen.
Great decision.
and then it doesn't happen because I will be the first one to stand up and say, I apologize, and I will take every bullet thrown at me. But I don't want to get to that point. I want to ease into it. I want to take one thing at a time. And I will tell you this. I've had conversations with Austin about some things that I have looked at football. I've had conversations with Coach O about some things that I would like to implement at football, even though that's Austin's baby. And I'm going to let Austin have it. But I still want to have input on what I think can work and see if we can make it work. I'll be the first one to tell you. Monday at the press conference, I had a conversation with Austin. And Austin, I know you're still here, so back me up on this. I called Austin, I said, I need you to come shoot the press. And he goes, all right. And I said, I need one thing, though. I need to be better than. That's all I said. I didn't say who. I said, it needs to be better than. He started laughing. And I said, you got it. I said, you understand. And I said, I'm staying out of your way. This is all I want. I'm out of the way. I do the same thing. I do the same thing with my guy with graphics. So the guy that did those graphics was my guy in South Alabama. And I call him or I text him. I'm like, hey, this is what I need. 30, 45 minutes later, it's on my phone in a text message. I stay out of the way. I surround myself with people that know how to do their job and are the best at what they do.
and I get out of the way. I have final say, I have final right of refusal and approval, but I stay out of the way and let them do their job. I mean, if I have to do with the day-to-day of what they do, then why? And by the way, that's my roommate.
Yeah,
that I just
that one just got me.
Hey.
Hey, I hear it all day long.
It's an 84-pound, 2-year-old black mouth cur that's trying to get used to an apartment.
Look,
and he hates everything.
Hear it all day long. They hate me.
Actually, he might be barking because I just turned the game back on. He might be looking.
I just took my uniform off. They hate me. But no, I wanted to speak on something because actually I came on here. The first thing I said was the first thing that you actually mentioned when you got here with your tweet. And I would actually mention to everybody who's watching, literally everything that you said thus far echoes that. And so the one thing that I've noticed, even tonight, just listening to you talk, speaks to intentionality, like I said earlier. But the main thing it shows is growth. We're not being stagnant. And that's the real thing about it. When it comes from an HBCU standpoint, and also in FCS, when we talk about media, what we've gone since Coach Prime was here, we've raised the bar, we've raised the level. Like Jackson State is known in far other places. We've reached other places that we otherwise wouldn't have in the past, right? Our social media presence is strong with the school and the fan base. But yet and still, you came here and you're not sitting on that. You see, like you say, I can see where this could be so much better. I can see where I can take this to a whole nother level. And again, that speaks to intentionality. I wanted to say that. But now here's the thing that I want to see, because I have a question to it. We have, in a sense, and I'm gonna speak mostly on football, because Austin has done a little bit of it. We kind of get to our history a little bit. Now, granted, when it comes to our history, most people know like a lot of the regular stuff when it comes like, having the 11, draft picks in one draft, having the 4 first-round draft picks. We have some of those stuff, and the 1400 Club puts out a great bit of historical data. But I think just for the average novice fan or alum or even other HBCU fans who pay attention to what we have, I was want to ask to see what can we do, even if it's graphics, to specialize and show and go more in depth with our football history.
So I'll say this, and this will answer your question without really a whole lot of content. To be intentional is the biggest thing in this job. If you're not intentional at what you do, it's just like my interview I had with Jamie on the sideline of the spring game. He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, honestly, the new stuff will come. I said, but why are we going to walk away from the history of this university to focus on everything new? So the phone calls that I made when I initially got here, will answer this question for you. I met with the university side of communications to find out what their vision was. I met with Dr. Anthony, who's the former interim president, who's back over in communications, mass media, met with her. I called Miss Ballard at Archives.
Mm-hmm.
We've already had that conversation. Then I called Sam Jefferson. So that answers your question about where the history of, what I think about the history and tradition. Some schools ignore it. We're not going to ignore it. We're going to find a way to pull it in. Now, will it be this year? Don't know. It really just kind of depends. It really depends on what we can grow and what we can map out. I'm a big guy that likes to map out social. Like we will go through the week and say, okay, this is what we got coming up. This is what we got, this sport. And if we really don't have anything for 5 or 6 days during the week, we only have 2 or 3 days in the week. That gives me 3 or 4 days to go through and pull up the historical stuff.
I mean, what you're speaking on goes to our mantra, building on tradition, blazing new trails. So, we definitely have to keep that part in. I wanted to ask, I know you met with Jamie and Rob J. Those guys do a fantastic job. And the question I have, how much would you have a hand on enhancing what they do?
I think I can put this without giving it away too much. Screw it. I'll give a lot away. So we just watched the game. You just watched the game on the Swag Digital Network, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people think when you come in and you bring other people in, you're getting rid of other people. That's totally against what I believe in. I bring other people in to help people that are already here to step our game up to another level. So the broadcast that you saw on the Digital Sports Network, SWAC Digital Network, without the announcers, everything else is included. I had him at Alabama State with me during COVID and most year. A simple phone call was made. James, can you come help? Absolutely. He lives in Columbus. So we're all going to work hand in hand. The folks at JSU TV are going to play a part in this. He's going to play a part in this. To say that we're going to elevate the stream a little bit, not really the right word. To blow the top off of what we do on the stream side is probably a better way to say it.
I like that.
I don't like putting something out that if I'm not happy about it, then I know the fans are not happy about it. What people have to understand in our job, and it's been the concept has been wrong for a long time. You know, when I first got in this business, people always thought it was a competition between communications people. And it was at a point, but now everybody helps everybody. But then it was, what do we think? What do we think looks good? Well, what we think looks good may not be what the fans think looks good. It may not go to what they think that they want to see. So when we put stuff out, we base things based on algorithms. We do based on impressions. If we're not getting a whole lot of movement on something, then if we're going this way, we go this way real quick. Because if we're not getting anything, if we're going this way, we're going to go this way. And if we're not getting it that way, then we're going to go that way till we get it. And I know that alums are alums. The reason fans is, fans are short for fanaticals. So that's why when I say fans, I get the fact that people are going to have opinions. Not everything is going to be what they think is perfect. Not everything is going to be what they think is right. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if we can make an impact and we can tell a story, we've done our job. If we put things out that will get impressions, views, likes, whatever, that's what it's about. And that's a lot of the reason that I went on social when the whole stadium thing was going on. I'm the one that went on social, especially when it was against Alabama State. Vaughn over at the stadium sent me a text because I wasn't paying attention to it, mm-hmm. and said, "Hey, we're matched up with Alabama State in the stadium competition." I said, "Say less." And so I got on social on the official account and did it, and then did it when we did it the next round, and then did it when we got the championship round. But the thing is you got to understand you have to do things that fans are going to interact with. If you're not doing the things that fans are going to interact with and all they're going to do is complain and send emails, then change what you're doing.
So I was going to ask you.
Hang tight, T. I got something I want to go into. We talked about, so recently we saw the request for students at the university that wanted to work in.
You're really about to ask me this after we had this conversation today, aren't you?
I know, man. We pushed it on the channel, and what I'm hearing is only this. This is all I'm hearing. No, not all I'm hearing. This is what I'm shooting for. I just want to know for what you can share. I guess it would be good to share the response that you got, and kind of in a very small scale back way plan on you, or how I'm just saying, let it however you want to go with it.
So my vision for our department is the same vision that I incorporated at Alabama State. When I first started at Alabama State, we had a full-time staff of 4. I was the number 2 guy. Brian Howard, who's now at Alabama A&M, was the lead guy. He left after 6 months. So I inherited the job. Really didn't want to be the director. I just wanted to coast and get my retirement and be done. If I'm being really honest, I mean, that's kind of where I was at the point. That's where I was at. And that's just me being real. But when he left, then it became me and Andrea Wheeler, and she basically did graphics. So then I got him to give me money to give me 2 interns. Well, I figured out the 2 interns could cover sports, but that still wasn't enough. So I incorporated communications. When I incorporated communications, I got 2 more people to come over and start helping with the video and the streaming. Figured out it still wasn't enough, because if we're going to do things right, you got to have bodies, and you got to have bodies that you can teach and you can get experience.
Absolutely.
So we built a student-based department. We met, and the first time we met at Alabama State, I had 45 people show up at the first meeting. Now, 45 people, some of them washed themselves out because they figured out, oh, well, 1, I'm not going to get paid, and 2, I want to work football. Well, my philosophy is you don't get to work football until you earn it. Yep. You don't get to work this basketball until you earn it.
Yep. Those
are 2 of the most high-profile sports in Division I. You don't get those until you earn. Let me tell you something. I didn't get those until my 3rd year at Troy, and that was 9 years in the business. That was the first time I got to work with football. So that's how I was taught. So needless to say, when I went to South, we only had about 3 or 4 students, but a lot of that stuff was already done because we had full-time game day staff. So I got here, talked to Austin, saw Austin's crew, already knew a little bit about Austin. I met Austin back at Celebration Bowl when he tried to sneak his way into, sneak his way into whoever the opponent was, his press conference. And was told then by Michelle Jenks he couldn't do it, and I was standing right there, and I talked him through everything, and we talked, and so that's how we first initially met. But we hit it off because of it.
Are you telling me that you can get past Michelle? She got to be the hardest person.
Is that the same lady from Swipe Man?
Yeah, that's the same lady.
Yeah. Oh boy! Oh my God!
No. Hey, Michelle, we love you.
Oh yeah, we do.
Look,
we love you.
You know who had to do Michelle's dirty work?
Oh wow!
I was the one who was
happy to have you now. I'm telling you.
And every game.
No, Travis. I had a funny incident with her because me and Kid were in the we were in the booth together.
Shout out to Kobe, by the way. No, don't say it, though. Don't say it. We ain't letting that out. No.
So look, let me finish this. So y'all know where we're at.
Keep going.
So I put a feeler out. On social, not knowing how many students we were going to get, not knowing what the response was going to be. I would have been happy with 5. Well, I got 5 in the first hour, and I was cool with it. I was like, okay, good. This is going to run its course. I'll have 5 people. By the end of the week, I had 19, and I was like, crap, what am I going to do if I keep this coming? Because I don't have anywhere to put them all. Well, somehow somebody found a back door to the link, because the link I reactivated the link today because 2 people got in after the link expired. Don't know how they did it. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this, especially if none of them weed themselves out. Because Ken, after I got off the phone with you today, I had 2 more, so I'm up to 35 now. Damn. And when I say that, a lot of them are photography and videography. There's some creative, some social, some want to learn how to do communications. However, the whole caveat to this was, and I made sure I put it in there, this is for experience only and to build your portfolio. You're not getting a dime. So if you're expecting money, you're not going to get it. This is to help you. So when you leave, you apply for a job, you have a portfolio already built, and you already have experience.
Yep.
Because what people don't realize, your student experience, if you're working it full time, is counted as experience.
Yep,
it is.
And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to build it. So when I met with Dr. Anthony, we did the same thing. I said, I want to create a pipeline with these sports media majors, journalism majors, communication majors. And she said, I'm all for it. So I'm going to send you some. And her caveat was, as long as they don't have to run and get anybody water. I said, if they have to run and get anybody water, I said, me and the person that they have running to go get water going to have a conversation, because you should sit down with 3 bottles of water sitting in front of you, because you know you can't get up during a game. Why are you going to make somebody else get up there? So my thing is, I want these kids to learn. I want these kids to get experience. And it's like I told two of the students that were at state with me, Khalil Stewart and Kendall Mans, the wild card kids, wild card guys. I told them, I said, I want you guys to know something. I'm proud of everything y'all have done. I said, y'all saved me from a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, I hope y'all learned as much from me as I learned from you.
Well,
and so that's my thing.
I was just going to say the beautiful thing about that, though, it goes back to what Ken and I mentioned a long time ago is being that you're in a university, the greatest resource that every collegiate university has is students. It's the greatest resource to have. And so it's dope that you're implementing that and using them. And again, I think it's actually ingenious, to have them knowing that this is an alleyway or a pathway to segue from being on campus to leaving campus and have something worthwhile to use to carry them through.
Well, and I'll tell you this, there's some things about me that you'll learn real quick. I'm humble at things. I don't take credit for any of it. I give it to my staff. I will say thank you in public, but then when I go back behind closed doors, I make sure my staff gets all the credit. And two, the second thing is my motto is get 1% better every day. And I learned that from Jess Poole. Learn something different every day. Teach yourself something different every day, because if you're just going to sit around and not try to learn something new, get 1% better every day. If I can get 1% better every day, that's 365% better December 31st than I was January 1st.
Yes, sir.
Which means I've elevated where I want to be in the brand that I work for. And there's nothing that can be said to me that will push me back of what our vision is for this department. And I know what AD Robinson's vision is to be the best in our region at the FCS level and in the FCS period. But my vision goes beyond that. My vision goes to, if we're going to compare ourselves to something, why are we comparing ourselves to a level that we're at? We've got two SEC schools that are within 2.5 hours of us. We got a Sunbelt school that's within 2 hours of us that I drove by yesterday. And then we got all kinds of FBS and Power 5 schools sitting within a 5-hour radius of our campus. I had those resources that I can pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, how do you do this? Why am I not going to utilize them and take advantage of them and bring them into what we do, and then try to teach our staff, hey, this is something we need to learn. I went to Mississippi State my third week here. Or was I? Yeah, it was my third week here, to a baseball game to see how they do things, to see. And Travis Ray's a really good friend of mine. He's 20 years younger than I am. And I sat right there and I let him teach me something. And a couple of things they did, we're about to implement. And that's, for me, that's what it's about, is taking ideas that other people use and do and bring them and make them our own. These people think that I design all these game notes and all that. Look, all these game notes, I tweak them every year. Chris Yandel was at Baylor in 2009, 2010. He sent us his InDesign file from Baylor and said, just change everything from Baylor to Troy. So when I left Troy, I took those set of game notes with me everywhere I went, and I just tweak them and make them wherever I'm at and make them that institution's game notes. And it has helped me along the way, because it's helped me build a network that is unbelievable. The people that I can call when I need to have something. I just had a conversation with Scotty Rogers at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. He's the chair of our DEI committee, and I'm the vice chair. We were sitting there talking about the bowl game already, and we were sitting there talking about different ideas that he's going to implement, that I'm trying to implement, and I bat things off of him like, hey, what do you think about these? And he's like, I was like, okay, that's enough I need to hear. I'm good. So it's just doing that.
Hey, Travis, I wanted to ask, do you have anything in mind, plan in mind for fan interaction?
You talking about that question that just got asked on there for the video?
I've been trying to ask it for like 15 minutes, but I couldn't. I couldn't get through. So
I got a short answer. Yes. Go ahead.
There are ways. I haven't tapped into it yet because of all the other stuff we're trying to get done, and trying to get in place before July 1. Because when you come into a place in mid-March, it's tough. because you're still going through some of the seasons and you don't want to come in and change a lot. Yeah, there's ways. I've got to figure out what those ways are. I know that Taylor in our office handles marketing from that side, and she's had some conversations on the phone with some people about different things. That'll be a conversation we have later down the road. Some of the stuff I've seen is good at some places. Some of the stuff I've seen is not very good at some of the places. It's just a matter of what we can do and how we can do it. To be fully transparent, I have not even looked at that video board. The only thing I did was look at the production in the room during the spring game for the first 30 minutes when I sat in there with Tyler and his crew to learn it. So in case anything ever goes wrong and I made the mistake and say, I know how to do that, which you'll find out very quickly. I stick my foot in my mouth a lot. And people find out that I know how to do things that I probably shouldn't tell them I know how to do. Get stuck doing it. But yeah, there's things. It's just a matter of what we can do and how we can do it. And you know, and TJ, you don't have to research. I've got all the places and the people. It's just a matter of what is compatible with our board. That's the biggest thing, because every board is different. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Every board is different. And when you start trying to share things on a board that is not compatible with your board, it sends your board into chaos. And if your board is your scoreboard, you have to stop your game for about 5 minutes. Firsthand experience.
Well, since you made your trek up to Starkville, Mississippi State, I actually mentioned to Austin, I think last year, about doing a lot of the productions that we possibly could do, whether it's on a television spot or through YouTube, and actually call the company or the setup via I Love Productions.
And don't be saying that out loud. Don't be, see, you can't say all that stuff out loud yet. Some of that stuff has to stay behind the curtain.
Oh no, that was my own thing. That was my own thing.
No, we've had that conversation. We had that conversation on Monday.
Oh, this was last year.
No, but me and Austin have had that conversation. Okay. It came up because I was talking about some other stuff to him and he brought it up. And I was like, my one word was exactly. That's exactly how I answered. That's exactly what I said because we were talking about a bunch of different things. And see, Austin, man, would you please tell him we have these conversations offline already? Y'all don't realize the conversations that I have with Austin would blow your mind about stuff.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
No, it would, because I've only been here for 2 months, and y'all would think we've known each other for years. So, I mean, yeah, we've have we've kind of started addressing that, and again,
the censor version of whatever song.
Again, we're just trying to get through this weekend as our last weekend of home games. Once that last weekend of home games is over, then I do this with everything that was pre-Travis, and it goes out the window.
Well, let me tell you, because me and my compadre above me, we brainstorm. It's a lot that's been talked about, and we're very detail oriented. So that's why I was like, I had these conversations with Austin, kind of mentioned some things to him too, because I always say, being a creative myself, and I say this to Austin and his team, because they're a team of creatives, right? That's the beautiful thing about being around other creatives is, being able to bounce ideas off of each other, because, one person can't come up with with everything. And that's what Ken and I do quite a bit. What you think about this? Hey man, hey, how you feel about this? What about this concept? And we run the gamut between the various sports, whether it's uniform, sports. I mean, we run the whole gamut. But again, it comes from a good place, because we have this vision of how we would like to see things, but we know that it's not our decision. We just want to throw things out there into the lexicon. So maybe it could be an idea that, possibly, not saying that you would take what we give and run with it, but it could be, I was thinking this in mind, but I could take a piece of this. You see what I'm saying? And just roll with it like that. So that's why we always tend to, have these conversations. But and talked about it is great.
To your point, and Ken brought it up to 30, 60, 90, 120. I'm at 150, 180, 210 already, because that's how that's how my world runs, because it doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously people have seen what's happened in the 2 months I'm here, because I'm not shy about where I go on social. If I'm representing if I'm representing the institution, I want people to know that I'm representing the institution. Like, you know, my first month and a half was crazy with games, with trips, and then going and speaking at the inclusion forum, representing Jackson State on stage as part of a DEI panel. And then a lot of people think, oh, well, y'all get the summer. No, I don't get the summer. Our last home baseball game is this weekend. We wrap up baseball next weekend. The tournament's the weekend after that. I'm already working on football. Football media day is July 16th. We're planning all of our content shoots this summer when all the student athletes report back in August. We're already planning on the facility improvements on what we can do to get the streaming back up to where it needs to be. We're looking at different things for the board and in the arena. We're looking at a bunch of different things. And before my power goes away, since y'all see me moving, I forgot to plug my computer up. So,
and look, while you're talking, the cool thing about this is the fact that you're even mentioning everything that you are mentioning, because it pulls the curtain back so people can see all the work that's actually going in. Because a lot of people are blind to a lot of this stuff. They have no clue what tangible work is being done by so many entities on campus.
Look, I'm be honest. I'm sitting in the office not doing anything all day. I just sit there. I don't do anything. I'm kidding. I mean, it's just, if you knew, how can I say this? If you knew the plans that were being done and how much time that I spend on the phone and on Zooms and everything else to get everything in place, so when we have a full staff in July, we can have a full first staff meeting to go over everything. You know, it's crazy because the first week I was here, I couldn't do anything because of orientation, baseball game, and going to UConn. When we landed, Saturday meeting, myself, Taylor, and Rob J on Monday to kind of hear what they had to say. I took everything they had to say. I listened. And you'll find that out a lot. When I have meetings, I listen. I listen a lot. And then when it's time for me to talk, which is tonight the reason I'm talking a lot, because I'm excited about the plans we have, and I know y'all want to hear some of the stuff we have. The second staff meeting we had was like 3 weeks later. That was my staff meeting to go over my expectations, some things we were going to change, and the way we were going to do things a little different. The next staff meeting will not be until after media day, or no, it'll be before media day, because I'll have the full-time staff in place by then. When we have that meeting, I'll bring 2 people in on the Zoom that will go over the streaming. We'll go over the graphics. We'll talk about everything, how we're going to do it. And it's going to be, this is the expectation level of this department. This is how we're going to do things. I need everybody to be on board with it, because if we're not, and we have one wheel that falls off, the whole department falls off. And if the whole department falls off, that's on me.
Love it.
The biggest thing for our department, we got to have structure. And it's not a knock against anybody. I love Lewis. I love, I follow him.
I'll knock for you. Yeah, structure. Keep going.
But the structure is what helps communications department thrive.
Yep.
And Christmas is right around the corner. It already is May, so it's just right around the corner. So, it's gonna take time. I say this all the time. Don't expect magic. Don't expect magic overnight. And the things I'm doing and the things I'm trying to implement is nothing extraordinary. It's just me being me. It's me taking the things I've learned and bringing them here. So when I do them here, people's eyes get as big around as dinner plates. And I'm just like, y'all do know this goes on everywhere. This is just me bringing it here, and it's something new. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. Jasher Cox, who's the AD at Allen University, is one of my best friends. He followed me at Tuskegee, and he called me 2 weeks in, and he just got quiet on the phone. And I said, dude, I'm sorry. That's all I told him. I said, dude, I'm sorry. He started laughing. He goes, how did you know? And I said, I just had a feeling. And he said, Travis, I walked across campus today to introduce myself to people and tell them who I was. And these people here at Tuskegee act like you're God. I said, dude, I came in behind something that wasn't getting done. And I said, I'm a people person. I go meet people. I go shake hands. I go talk to people. I'm not afraid to go stand up in front of people, which obviously you three know that because you've seen what I've been doing over the last 2 months. In the summer, just so y'all know. So plan for it to go out on social. I'm a moderator on a panel in Vegas for our national convention. And it's about DEI stuff because I have a passion not only for communications, but I have a passion for DEI because of where I worked, how I grew up, and I have a 15-year-old daughter who I want to get the same rights that I've gotten and that anybody else gets. So you'll know the things I'm passionate about because I get really going on a lot of stuff.
Hey Travis, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you this year, so I apologize if I asked a question.
Oh, you're good.
But are you planning on it, or is it your job to create a student section?
No, that's not my job, but I will put a bug in somebody's ear only because I've seen it happen. That falls under marketing. And that's something that I know that AD Wells has been working on before I got here was a marketing aspect. I'm not going to answer that because I don't want to. I told y'all earlier I have a habit of sticking my foot in my mouth, and I like to stay on her good side. So no, honestly, if I don't know the answer to something, I'll find out.
That's fine.
Just see what we're going. No, and that's fine. I mean, my thing is just. There's a lot of things that need to happen, but you got to have buy-in. You can't just do something and want to do something, but you don't have buy-in to get it done. Like, let's just use a student section, for instance. If we create a student section, and I'll use basketball, for instance. You create a student section, 10 students show up the first game, 15 students show up the second game, 30 students show up the third game. Is it really worth having a student section? And I've seen it happen. Now, the student section we had at Alabama State, you don't want that student section to come here because there's no barrier that they have to jump over to get to the court. At Alabama State, at least they had to jump down 5 feet before they could be courtside because they were right behind the team's bench. And they were saying some things that compared to this noise going on behind me right now because I don't know what's going on with this dog outside making mine decide to bark, but it's past his bedtime and I'm about to kick him into the bedroom. But no, just, it's one of those things where to do it, you got to do it right. And if you got to have buy-in. So that's my biggest thing. If you got buy-in, everything will work.
He's trying to be heard. Somebody wanted to see him. Who was that? Was that Haley? I think that was Haley. Haley loved the dogs. But no, that's a good question.
Does she want this one?
Yeah, they want to see it. She look
hold on. Let me.
You can put that on the shirt. Haley loved the dogs.
Look at him. Come on, big fella.
I knew it was a big dog. I knew it. I knew it was a big dog too. I knew it.
Dog said, I hear you.
I knew it was a big dog too.
He just needed a little love.
2 years old. 2 years old.
Man, he's going to be quiet.
The people next door just got home, and dude is so loud when he comes in. And he comes in 10, 11, 12. And the thing is, the apartment complex has a quiet time between 10 and 7. This dude comes in after the quiet time, and it's just like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, dude, shut up and go to bed. I'm trying to work.
No, man, good stuff, man. I think I saw something that you've done that is I thought was pretty telling, kind of a sign of what's to come. The YouTube page for JSU, Go JSU Athletics. Talk to us a little bit about that because I know it seems like you just kind of got the format in there. Is that where I know we use what is it Blue Steel, what we actually purchase through our streaming services. Do you see that streaming service possibly? Are we looking to use YouTube as a means to stream, or are we just looking to stick in the same streaming service that we have?
The streaming service is going to stay the same.
Okay.
And it's Jackson State was one of the first ones to go to that service.
Correct.
Alabama State uses it now. But, you know, the YouTube is a place where we can house videos. It's a place where Rob J can put his stuff, and then I can put them on stories, and then we can move from there. It gives us a place where we can do some things that we don't need to charge people for, because then, you know, you can go out and do the things the right way and do more. I mean, if we're going to have an in-house media, we got to have somewhere to store it. We could have stored them all on Sidearm, which is the website.
Yeah.
Which at some point I will. But that's the November thing. So there you go. That's something you can look forward to in November. You notice how I kind of spill stuff every now and then, just kind of give you hints. But yeah, that's stuff that, you know, at Alabama State, we had, if you've ever noticed somebody on social, Skull Sparks, it does all this stuff with the creatives, and does the analytics and does all the rankings of where teams rank, where schools rank in different sports on social. I've known Jason for a while. for a while.
Y'all do me so dirty, man.
So mailman, that's what I said.
Why'd you go off camera? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Ice cream for dinner, man. Get off late, man. Ice cream for dinner.
Well, you gonna be gonna be percolating.
We had Jason Matheson come on campus from Skull Sparks, Alabama State this year. Well, I've known him for a while, and I asked him questions. So I told you I listen and ask questions. So I asked him questions a while back when that first came out, and I was like, how do we get our social media up? Well, that's how we took off at Alabama State, because he gave us the secrets. Well, the administration that came in while I left to go to South and then came back wanted to kill off the YouTube page. And he came in, and everything he used, which y'all will love this. So I was gone for a year. Everything he used as examples for Alabama State was previous to the year I was gone. So everything he used was our stuff, which I thought was funny. And then he said, yeah, and after meeting with the administration, I'm really confused as to why you want to kill off a YouTube page that ranks in the top 80 of every college athletic department. Not just Division I, every college athletic department, we were ranked in the top 80. And he said, why would you do that? Because people go there to look at stuff. And I'm just sitting in the back of the room, and I just kind of did when I'm sitting exactly like I am now. And I went just like this, and he was looking at me, and I went, and he started laughing. So I was supposed to have a one-on-one meeting with him, and he just said, dude, call me. And I said, all right, I will. So I called him after I took this job. We need to talk.
Hey, Travis, I'm not sure if you was there at the time, but if you were, what were your thoughts on the whole situation with the bro hug and how that transpired?
About that infamous push.
Yeah, because the fans, and I was thinking about this when you spoke of the student section. They had some very choice words for our former coach. I mean, very strong.
Okay, let me just go ahead and put this out to the public. I was on staff the spring of the video board incident. I had nothing to do with the video board incident.
Oh, with the Jerry Curl on the telephone? I
had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I was on the field when it happened. They had been talking about it, and they did it. And as soon as they did it, you don't want to know what I said out loud. And I was on the radio, and what I said out loud, I got the radio up to my mouth, and I said it on the radio. And I'm surprised I didn't get reprimanded. But that part, I wasn't on staff. I was actually just hanging out on the field beside BJ.
Yep.
Which just I was able to get parking and on the field without being a staff member and without having credentials. Just so let's just set the record straight. So I had no ties to the game. So I was out there. I saw it. I went back and watched the replay, and then I actually talked to Eddie when I got back, and the student section started it in the spring that year when they started getting on him, but it was overplayed and overhyped, and it was overkill. Honestly, Eddie didn't want to be pulled in for a hug, and so that's why he kind of put the arm up, because he just got beat, and some comments were made during the week that stung. But that is what it is. I mean, for me, it was just an incident that's done, and I'll tell you this: November 21st, I might need a police escort going into the stadium, just so y'all know.
It's gonna be interesting going back to Montgomery, man. I can just tell you, I can see that now, because we owe them one, man. They came in, they beat us for homecoming, and they've been flexing on us ever since, man. So
the good news. So y'all know the good news is I am 2-0 at Jackson State for homecoming. Just so y'all know.
But
I had to get it in, Ken. You brought it up. I'm 2-0 with Jackson State's homecoming. I'm just saying that's a good sign for this year.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Look, I've told Ken, and I've said it here numerous times. To me, the best road trip in the swag is Alabama State. I've said it several times. I can't wait.
I'm gonna just go ahead and put this out there right now, Travis. I'm gonna channel all my. I got a bullseye on Alabama State's head, man. They doing. I ain't been saying a whole lot of nothing. I see all the chat birds, and they got some. They feel like people saying they're the team to beat. All I'm gonna say is don't count out Jack State and that team, the peas and carrot, because they recruiting pretty well, I think. And I keep trying to tell everybody, I don't think that team is gonna be as bad as people think they will be. You gotta beat.
Look, man, it's.
But I don't think Alabama State even. They'll be probably in the top 3 or 4. I don't see them winning the East. They damn sure ain't gonna beat us. So they can feel how they feel. I appreciate the competitive spirit, but I'm gonna just leave it right there. I ain't doing no whole lot of smack talking this year. We just gonna go handle business and let the work on the field speak for itself. But that's one I do got circled, because I want to see what some of the people that's doing a whole lot of talking gonna say after we win.
Yeah, well, and that's my thing. Just so y'all know, I'm about to apologize for what I'm about to do. But you see, I'm looking to my right. My computer screen is up, and since Taylor's already tweeted something out, I might have a quote tweet just for the record. But no, I mean, my thing is I am full. If you follow me on social, Ken, I know y'all do. I am fully transparent. And like I said last night, when I get on Twitter after 10 o'clock, it's usually because my brain is going and a conversation has started, and that conversation leads to, I need to say this because I don't know who needs to hear it. But I have nothing to hide, personally or professionally. And that's how it's going to be as far as, as far as what we do with the media stuff. I mean, I want to continue to grow us where we're at, but if I get complacent, then everybody gets complacent, and then we're back where we started.
Hey, you mentioned, professional and personal. I've been holding this comment for quite a while. You went out and you were very transparent about an experience you had in your own personal life, and someone mentioned that comment. Mr. Holland said, appreciated your testimony on Twitter regarding forgiveness. Just kind of wanted to see if you wanted to touch on that any, because I thought I read the whole thing and I was like, man, this is good stuff. I even shared it. But I think our audience, we keep it real and raw on the channel, so I'm pretty sure.
So growing up, obviously I grew up in a single parent household. It was just me and my mom. My dad left me when we were 3. Really didn't understand when I was growing up until I started seeing kids when I was 8, 9, 10 years old with their dads walking around where mine was. So my grandfather took his place, and then my coaches kind of continually fed into it, but nothing replaces a father like a real father being there. So I made the comment that if somebody would have seen me when I was 10, 15, 17 to where I am now at 49, I turned 50 this summer, they would look at me and say, excuse me when I say this, how in the hell did you get from where you were to where you are? I didn't have what other people had. I didn't have what kids my age had. I didn't have a car when I turned 16. I started working when I was 15. Actually, I started working when I was 14 at a car wash to help provide for our family and to put money in my pocket. I wasn't wearing the high-end clothes. I wasn't wearing the high-end shoes. And I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, where, it's one of the most conflicted cities in the United States of America because it's the cradle of the Confederacy and it's the birthplace of civil rights. And I went to a school that I'm very proud to say I went to because we called it Lee High School. We never called it Robert E. Lee High School, which is now it's been changed to Percy Julian. But I didn't have a father. The last time I saw him in person was when I was 11, and he thought, oh, I'm gonna hang out with you for 2 days. I'm gonna buy you a bat, and then I'm gonna disappear again. So he bought me a bat, and I was playing baseball. Supposed to come, didn't show up. I played like crap because I kept turning. I remember this like it was yesterday. I kept turning around thinking he was going to be there, and he wasn't there, and I played like crap. I struck out 3 times. I made 2 errors at third, went home and cried. He showed up at my high school graduation and gave my cousin some money to give to me for a gift, and I told her she could keep it. I didn't want it. If he didn't have the nerve to come see me and give it to himself, I didn't want it. So as time went on, the hatred just kept building itself up. I wanted to be better than him. But again, I didn't have the dad to steer me away that a teenage boy should be steered. So things happen in life. And the reason that I'm a big advocate for what I am DEI-wise is when I was 16, 17, I never knew that I was actually an advocate for DEI when it was going on because we were having race wars going on in Montgomery at our high school where you had to choose sides. Well, my side was with the people that I grew up with, who I drove home to Tulane Court, to Trenton Court, to Patterson Court, and those were my friends. And so that's the side of the street I chose, and I've been on that side of the street ever since. I lost a lot of friends in the process because of it, but at the end of the day, it put me in a place that I understand more than a lot of people think I know, that they don't think I understand. I'll never know what it feels like to walk in anybody's shoes, so don't get me wrong. But I do understand about being in the culture because I've been in that culture since I was a teenager. I grew up in it. I lived in neighborhoods that you had to know the culture in order to survive. You had to know people in order to survive. And so I got kind of lackadaisical in college because I didn't have a dad to push me. I just had my mom. And I love my mom to death. She drives me crazy, but I love her to death. I'll get 12 text messages from her in a day, and I'll respond to one. And it's usually the one that she says, I love you at the end, because I'm not going to respond to the other 10 because then it leads to a long conversation and I have to say, hey, I'm busy. But, as time went on, I tried to call him in 2003. And I was 28 at the time. Was I 28 at the time? I don't know. However I was in 23. I was 28, about to be 29. I called, and his wife answered the phone. And I said, hey, this is Travis. I said, it's my dad there. I said, I just want to say, hey, I just wanted to air some things out. And at that point, I was going to say, hey, I love you. I'm sorry for whatever I did to make you leave, this, that, and the other. I heard his voice in the background. She said, he's not here. He's at work. So I actually heard his voice. So when I say I didn't talk to him from 11 when I was 28. That was the last time I heard his voice. The next year, I'm coaching a summer league baseball game. My mom calls me and says, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm coaching. She goes, well, I need to tell you something. And she goes, I said, what? She goes, your dad died. I said, how do you know? She said, because one of his brothers just called. I never met a side of the family, so I was like, whatever. I said, this is exactly how the conversation went. She goes, your dad died. I said, okay, I got to go finish coaching. Bye. Thank you. And I hung up the telephone. So I was numb to the fact that all this happened. Well, he's buried in Gulfport. I happened to be in Mobile working the NAIA National Tennis Tournament at the time because that's where it was when I was at AUM. And that's why I was full time. So I made the short drive to Gulfport. I met his entire family that was still alive. I was still good. I was good when we went into the church, and his wife was talking to one of the brothers and said, I just wish Travis could have been here. I didn't know how to get in touch with him. And while they were doing that, I took a picture out of the frame of him and put it under my shirt and took it with me. So there was an empty frame sitting there. And then they wanted me to come. When he said, no, he's here, she turned as white as a sheet. And they had the nerve to come tell me, because she had 3 kids that were not by him, but she claimed were his as far as adopted children. They had the nerve to ask me to come sit up front with them. After they had already cremated the man when they knew I was coming. So I didn't even get to see him. And I was still fine till the day we got till an hour later when we got to the cemetery. And I'm standing in the back. They fold the flag up. They hand her the flag. I started tearing up a little bit. And then when they started playing taps, I lost it.
Yeah, taps will get you.
I walked out of the back of the outdoor chapel, and I went and sat down in the middle of a bunch of tombstones. And I bawled.
Yeah.
Bawled my eyes out. I bawled my eyes out because I didn't get a chance to tell him bye. I didn't get a chance to tell him I was sorry. I didn't give a chance to tell him that I forgave him. But I still had that hatred in my heart because I knew he could have any time picked up the phone and called. The adopted daughter lived in Montgomery. He could have come to see her and said, hey, I'm in town. So this went on until 2019, 2018. And I went on what's called a walk to Emmaus. Well, on a walk to Emmaus, you have a thing called dying moments where you go give up something over to God and ask for forgiveness. And I gave up the hatred that I had built up to my dad. And I hadn't cried about it since the funeral. So we're talking 15 years. Didn't think about my grandfather. He died in 97. I still to this day think about him. And so I gave all that over. And then I made a vow that when I took the job at South Alabama, every weekend I was going to go to Gulfport that I was in town. And I did. I drove to the cemetery in Biloxi every weekend, 61 miles from doorstep to tombstone one way. And so yesterday, Rob J was going to go with me. And I said, you don't really have to. I said, you can cut the highlights. I said, because I need to make a pit stop on the way. And so after the game, I went to the cemetery. They basically closed it at 4:30. I got there at 4:15, and I just sat down. I cleaned it off. I picked the grass, and I just rubbed his name and just kept rubbing because it had been a year since I've been down there. And I said, hey, I know I broke a promise. I know I told you I was going to come visit. I know I told you that I was going to be here. But I had some stuff come up that I couldn't do it. Sorry, I'm getting a text message. I'm replying. And I said, I love you. And I said, I always have. I said, I just didn't know how to tell you because I didn't think you loved me back. I said, I just need to know that you're proud of me, proud of the man I've become, proud of me because of the father that I've become, proud of me because of things I've done. I said, just give me a sign. Just do something. Well, all day, the wind had been blowing this way. Mm-hmm. At the complex. Well, the cemetery faces the same way the complex does. So the wind had been blowing this way all day. So I said that, and I was rubbing it, and I said, I love you. And all of a sudden, the wind blew this way. And blew that way for about a minute till I leaned over and I kissed. And this is the first time I've ever done this. I leaned over and I kissed his name. And I said, love you. I said, I'll be back this week to see you again. And then the wind stopped.
Wow.
And so I got in the car, and when I got in the car, I cried again a little bit, and I sent my daughter a text and said, hey, what are you doing? And then she asked me what I was doing, and I told her, and she said, yay, I'm happy for you. And this is a 15-year-old now, so she gets it. So that's when I got home that night, and I typed it because I just needed to. I just needed to tell people that you have to forgive people at some point in your life, because if you don't, it may be too late. You may not have the opportunity. Like, I don't have that opportunity to tell him face to face. I won't have that opportunity till the day that I take my last breath and I see him. Now, if you take a picture, and this is what's so scary, if you take a picture of him and you take a picture of me, dude, I'd never realized. And I sent it to somebody and I said, what you think about this picture? They said, man, why is that picture of you in black and white? I was like, it's not, that's my dad.
Wow.
And I said, and so, you know, a lot of things have happened to me over the last year and a half. You know, how much people follow me on social. But there were some things that happened when I was at Mobile that I will never forget. And one of them is October 24, 2021. So if you want to scroll through and find it, be my guest. And, you know, I told 400 people at the convention about how real mental health is. And, you know, if I can just have an impact on one person for anything I do, you know, that's it. If it's the job, if it's personal, if it's mental health, if it's forgiveness. I've done a lot of stuff stupid in my life. I've done a lot of things wrong in my life. I've done a lot of things that I probably shouldn't be here for. But October 24, 2021, if I would have done what I was about to do, that would have been the date that was on my tombstone.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is a date that whenever I get a chance to stand up in front of people and talk, I will get up in front of people and I'll talk, because God put some things in my way that said, stop. It's not your time. You're not ready. I'm not ready to see you yet. And this, I had the thoughts a couple more times, but I had people in places that now if I pick up the phone and I call, Andrew Roberts, Jasher Cox, Mark Hughes, Santuan McGee, Danielle Purcell, I can call those 5 people right now. I can shoot them a text. I can put 2 words in a sentence, and I guarantee you one or all 5 of them will call me or text me back. Because there are certain triggers now that they get and they know, and they understand. But that's why when I'm genuinely happy for a year and a half. And even for probably 12 years before I forgave my dad, as a man, y'all all know this, we keep a mask on. We don't let people know how we truly feel about stuff. I kept a mask on, and I had a mask on the whole time I was in Mobile when all this started. I didn't tell anybody until December. And then when I went in April and told them I need to go home because I had stuff at home I need to take care of, my daughter was sending me messages. It was real. And so I'll never forget 10/24/21. And I'm seriously thinking about going and getting it tattooed on my wrist so I can look at it every day and remember that that is the day that should have been on my tombstone, but it's not, because God put something in my way, and it was my daughter's face, and said, this is your why. And I said, okay. And I went and got help. And a lot of it was just being in a new place, being on new medicine, being, just health wise. And, I was fully transparent with AD Robinson when we had that phone call. I was fully transparent with him. I've been fully transparent with everybody about what happened. I don't care. It's something that I talked about in Orlando. And I had people come up afterwards and say thank you, because I thought I was the only one walking those bridges. I was the only one thinking I was crossing those roads. It's like, no, man. I said, we all do it. I said, everybody does it. And see, I told you, I'm personally, professionally, I do a lot of stuff on social. My weight loss, during COVID, I looked at my daughter, I looked at me, I looked at my daughter, I looked at me, I said, if I don't do something, I'm going to die. Because that's when you're hearing all the stories about people being overweight, I was 356. 356. In September, when I was in Mobile, I was 214. Because I kept it all up. Well, now, because I didn't feel right at 214, and when I walked, I thought I looked like a bobblehead. I now put my weight back to where I wanted to be. I'm at 247 today. I've gone from wearing a XXX that when I put it on and tuck it in, you can see my belly button, to wearing a 2X now that fits comfortable.
I'm on the way back down, brother. I'm on the way back down. I think on your journey losing, I think I might have found a little bit of it on the way.
I think the bad part is you're not the first person that said. I had somebody come and shake my hand and tell me. I said, hey man, why'd you have to give me that? I was like, look, I said, it's just a regimen I picked up and I changed. Like now I got into a bad habit of eating a lot of sugar again. So when I went to the store today, I got back and I threw all the sugar crap out again. I was like, I got to get back on it and get to where I can say, the heaviest I've gotten since I lost all the weight was back to 260. And I felt good, but I was like, that's still too high.
I'll tell you right now, man.
Heaviest I got was 282, and I
let me get back to 260. I'm gonna be a problem. Like my big sister who just joined us. I'm gonna let her get on and say a little something, but she say she a situation right now. So I'm just telling you now. I mess around and get back to 260. Y'all, hey, I'm gonna have a different attitude with it.
So can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm driving home from choir rehearsal. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I wasn't coming up, but Mr.
I knew you were coming.
And Mr. Travis, I was really trying to get in so I could, but it's dark so you wouldn't see my face. But I just wanted to May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And as you were speaking, I want to first thank you for being honest and your transparency. I am a therapist, and for men, I've always said I want to normalize therapy for men, but it's just something that I wanted to share with you because what you said, I've heard so many young people say the same thing, and that is when you made the statement, what is it that I could have done that made your father stay? I just want you to know there was nothing that your little self could ever do.
No,
because that had nothing to do with you. And so many young people say that to me in therapy going, Miss Rochelle, I could have been better. I could have did this. So I just want your little self to know that had nothing to do with you, King. And I love your story, but I hope that the little boy in you has healed from that because you say you forgave your father, which has everything to do with you coming to terms with the relationship. And sometimes we don't understand that. I tell people this all the time about parents. Before they're parents, they're people. Do we know their story? So I just want to honor you, but I just want the little one in you to know that it had nothing to do with you why he chose to leave. That was a choice that a whole grown person made. And it was probably nothing that you could ever do to correct that. So I just needed to let you know that part of the story. And I hope that your little self have healed from that because a lot of us are little people, even though we whole grown, it's the little people in us that's still hurting. Right. So I just wanted to speak that into you. I love your story. I thank you for sharing because men always think they are alone and they're not. And letting them, once you share your story, you probably had a whole lot of other men coming up saying, it's not just me alone. So I want to honor you, sir. And I love your story.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I have, it's funny you say about we're all still little and young. I mean, I still can remember all the stuff, but he's fine. If I could go back and tell my 3-year-old self to not worry about it, I would. Yeah. It's stuff that, now, and Ken, you read the tweet last night. I said it made me want to be a better person, a harder worker, and a better father. I mean, that's, for the little me, that's what it was about, was just being better. It gave me drive because it drove me to be better than the person that, I didn't have around. And, my grandfather always taught me, he said, hey, be better than. He's an old country guy. We used to go up to the lake and cut trees down. And he said, just be better than anybody. He said, be better than me. Be better than your mama. Be better than your daddy. Be better. And I was like, yes, sir. And so, the little me grew, still got me in trouble, still gets me in trouble a little bit to this day.
I know, right?
But, it's one of those that, I think without that happened, honestly, I would be the man I am today because it made me stronger. It made me a believer. It made me something that, stronger than I ever thought I would be. And a lot of that has to do with I had to grow up quickly. So, and that's a lot of, if I could tell anybody anything, there's nothing wrong with being a kid. There's no, and I tell my daughter this all the time. I was like, quit worrying about stuff. I was like, you're a kid. Enjoy being a kid. If I could go back and be 15 again, I would. I said, enjoy being a kid until you're not. And so that's what we always say. And she gets it. She's always trying to help other people, which kind of put her in her little situation last spring, which kind of, led me going back home, which led me to coming here. So,
well, you know what? I'm going to leave you with this scripture. Romans 8:28 says, for we know that all things work together for the good. And what I believe is that every situation that you have in your life, based on what you just said, God can find a way to work it for your good, for you to be the better person. So Romans 8:28 is what I live by. Any situation that we've been through can still work for our good if we trust and believe in God. So again, congratulations. I'm done.
Thank you.
I'll add one thing, and we got about a good 7-8 minutes, and I'm gonna let you get back. I know we've had you, and we can do this as often as we like. I've gone down that road. I'm pretty sure if TD told his story, he got a lot to share. I got a lot to share. We've shared a lot personally, but I did go to therapy as well. It was the best decision that ever happened for me. There was some resentment in my toolbox. You know what I mean, towards one of my parents, and it shaped how I, adulted. And once you heal, you're able to see, some things that you weren't able to see prior to. And I'm telling you, man, forgiveness is definitely, it's for you. It ain't for that other person, because what's done is done, and it allows you to. I got a 15-year-old daughter, 19, and a little one as well. So I'm inspired by your story. I know a lot of people are gonna appreciate that. That's why I appreciated the question, because I was gonna go there, but I don't have any other questions. I didn't have a lot, just more dialogue. TD, you got any other questions that you had?
TD, fire away. We hadn't had a chance to sit down and talk yet. Me and Ken talked about it the other day.
Y'all got a lot to catch up on, and he'll have a lot of questions to bring to you, and he always asks great questions. So, but yeah, go ahead if you got anything, brother.
No, man. I mean, after hearing what you had to say, I mean, why talk sports? So we talking real life. You know what I'm saying? And one of the first things that caught my attention, on your resumes and everything, your profiles, the first thing you have was I'm a believer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to say I appreciate you sharing your story. A lot of time I know God have the stories and stuff that we have and things that we go through in life. A lot of time is not always for us. It's to help someone else. So your testimony just may have helped someone else who may be having different thoughts that was not so good. So I appreciate you sharing. I'm uber happy to have you at Jackson State, and with your vision just alone, man, I think you sold up Tiger Nation. So the expectations are there. And we, from listening to you, I really feel that you're a man of your word. You're going to do what you say, and your intentions are great. So we look forward to meeting you soon. Looking forward to the great product that you're looking to put out on the screens. And is there anything that we could do? Definitely just let us know. Again, I appreciate you coming on the show and look forward to seeing your work. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. And I'll say this. I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy to be here. Ken, you've heard me say that every time I think we talk. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I come in with a smile on my face. I leave with a smile on my face. 2 questions I saw get asked. Let me answer. I'm 6'4". So go ahead and figure out the height and weight, because I know that's what you're doing. No,
they on that BMI scale.
I've already felt that. I'm actually coming down. I passed my state of Alabama insurance test, so we're good. But then the other thing is just, just the opportunity to be here at a place like Jackson State, to grow under somebody like Ashley Robinson, is the biggest thing for me, because he gets it. Elise Wells gets it. I just the energy that somebody said, this is the energy we can expect. Look, the energy you can expect in the fall is going to be 100 times. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's been a long year. This is the time of year where we start fading in this profession. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. I'm going to continue to be me. I've got a standard that I live up to, which, not a knock on anybody that's in this room or watching. My standard is probably higher than anybody's in here when it comes to my expectation level of my job and what I expect. Mm-hmm. And so you can ask anybody that's ever worked with me, for me, around me. I'll only know one way, and push the pedal down as fast as you can push it and as hard as you can push it, and see what can come out of it. Throw something on the wall, see if it sticks. If it doesn't, move to the next thing. There's going to be trials and tribulations. I'm sure I'm going to make somebody mad at some point. I'm sure somebody's going to start going nuts on the Facebook page or on Twitter. And look, at the end of the day, say what you will. At the end of the day, I'm a human being. I'm going to make a mistake. We're going to do things that you may not like. But at the end of the day, we're going to get Jackson State to where it should have been and where it needs to be. And that's well beyond the FCS level. That's comparative to some G5 levels and some P5 schools, because those are the people that I talk to. Those are the people that are in my network, and those are the people that are willing to help. So, just be prepared. July 1, we're going to let some stuff out, more stuff. We went ahead and let some stuff out this week, obviously. But July 1, some more stuff will come out. July 16th, I'm turning it over to Austin and letting him have his fun at SWAC Media Day.
We'll be there.
And then, when the teams start reporting, we'll do some other stuff. Sometime in November. I don't know what day in November, so don't hold me. Just sometime in November, there'll be something that everybody might fall out of their chair about when they see it. But just know that what we're doing right now is setting the tone for what we're going to do before our first game. We're not going to build up our first game at sometime in August, soccer, volleyball, which one it is first. We're not going to build it up the day before. We're building it up now. So when it happens, and we can all sit back and say, watch this. I mean, that's the big thing. I was taught that, a long time ago when they changed the position title, strategic communications. You got to be strategic in the way you think, in the way you look at things. You got to see what other schools are doing, research things that work. But we're not in a competition with anybody. We're in a competition with ourselves, which means we rely on other people at other institutions to help us, and help us with ideas and help us figure things out. So just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that we're not going to come behind them and do it. So look, Tiger Nation, the I Love family, when you see some of these series come out and say, man, why are we copying what Alabama State did? You're not. That's my stuff that I brought with me. They're copying me. They're copying me. And if they continue to do it, that's all I'm going to say. If they continue to try to do some of the shows we were doing without the game plan and without knowing what to do, good luck, because the 3 people that did it are all gone. Actually, no, back that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 7 people that had a hand in it are all going out the door.
Wow. So Travis, sound like you say you don't worry about taking other people's stuff because they make it a hot line, you make it a hot song, huh?
Hey, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Bars.
And so, because here's my thing, I send my stuff to other people. Love Willie Scott at Southern. I sent him my football media guide. He used a different text, thought it was going to be different. I was like, man, you didn't have to use the entire layout. I was like, you could have used the same. I didn't care. It didn't bother me.
You know what's crazy that you say that, Travis? Because when we were there, TD, you remember when we were there? We was in the we was upstairs, right? The little media guide. Remember that I was glancing through the thing. I was like, man, this is nice, man. when we went to go get our credentials for the Southern game. When my feet
Yeah,
was
yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
that was
I had some Jordan 1s on, by the way. That was the worst. I'll never make that mistake in life again. But no, that media guide, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. It's funny you say that. Okay. Good
yeah,
deal.
no, that was my layout. I don't mind. I don't look at the end of the day. I'm not going to do this for much longer. I'm getting old. I mean, I turned 50 this summer, and when you get to 50 in this business, you start saying, okay, I'm bringing in these young people. Y'all about to do all this. I'm going to sit them all and not do anything. But I'm not that way. But for me, I'll say this. For me, and obviously you saw the sign at the press conference yesterday, a new era.
Yeah.
Not only is it a new era in women's basketball, it's a new era at Jackson State because the gap from Sam Jefferson and Wesley Peterson till now has gone from this to this, and it needs to go back here. And the only way it's going to go back here is with a lot of hard work and a lot of research and a lot of making sure things are right. So with that being said, media day is July 16th. I started working on football Monday, even though baseball is still going. And then while I'm working on football, I take an hour or two a day and work on men's basketball because I know the standard that Mo and Trey have for me after working with them for 2 years. And that's a lot of the reason. So TD, to your question you asked me earlier, a lot of the draw of me coming here were them two.
I never thought about that. The whole time you sitting here, it never dawned on me that Mo and Trey were there with you. Wow.
I'll say this. Oh, and then look, me and Mo. So we did the first Zoom press conference in college athletics when we introduced Mo. Like we did a full-fledged press conference via Zoom, and then opened it up for questions. And then after that, 115, 130 phone calls that me and Mo had over the next 2 days that we were doing 3 ways with media members doing his interviews. And I'm talking interviews with Seth Davis, John Rothstein, folks at ESPN. I mean, it wasn't just your run-of-the-mill local. So when I came on campus the Monday of the SWAC basketball tournament, I was on campus that Monday. Nobody knew I was coming yet. Elise had told Taylor and Rob J that I was coming, but nobody on staff knew except for Elise, Ashley, Raphael, and then, of course, HR because I did all that. So I came on campus. I wasn't even thinking about what I had on. I had on a pair of blue pants, and I just put on my red pullover. I wasn't thinking about it. I just put it on. I walk in, and Trey sees me, and the first thing he says, he goes, "Yes, sir." He said, I already know the answer to this question. And I just started smiling. And so Mo had left to go get one of his boys from school. And so I went up, and most coaches kick you out of film study when you're getting ready to play your first tournament game. Man, I walked in that room, Mo stood up, opened his arms up, and said, "Welcome home."
Oh, yeah.
And so here's the thing with that. So when he said welcome home, I'm not from Jackson. He said welcome home. So I've had about 30 people send me messages and say, which part of Jackson is Margaret Richards from? She's not from Jackson. That's the slogan we use because she's here and this is her home now.
Right.
So that's where the welcome home came from. And Drew used it because I told him that story. All I did, I sent Drew those 2 pictures and I said, here's how you spell her name. I said, send me something. And so that's my guy. That's what he did. That's what he came up with.
Yeah.
And so he took it and ran with it. And so that's where we're at. And so for people asking if this is the energy you can expect, man, this is tame. This is so low key right now that I'm afraid of what's going to happen this summer because I've never been this chill about. I'm just excited. I'm excited to get it going. I'm excited to make the changes. I've got the full support of our administration, which is something I haven't had since I've had it at one school and I was at South. I don't have to worry about them saying, we can't do this. We can't do it. It's your shop. Go in and that's all. I just need the trust. I just need people to believe in who I am and trust me to a point that I can do what I can do and put a staff in place that will make us look better. It's not about me. It's about, I tell, it's not about, it's
Froze up a little bit.
so if you're not representing your logo on your chest, what are you doing? You know, that's the thing that kills me. Trust me, I know all about Sam Jefferson. You ain't got to tell me. I've already talked to Mr. Jefferson about 4 times on the telephone, and I started picking his brain already. So, look, you're not telling, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Nobody is telling me anything about Jackson State that I don't know already. I've been in the HBC world for 9 years. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you. When one of the first phone calls I made was to Archives, you should have known I was ready.
There you go. Well, man, this is wonderful, man. This has been a treat. I definitely appreciate you coming on, man.
No, man, I appreciate y'all having me. And you know, anytime you want to, I'll be glad to jump on this thing and talk about what's coming up.
Anytime. We definitely will. As we I tell you what, we'll have you back on and once you get ready.
This dog is still awake at 11:10. What is he doing?
He said, "You up, man? I see you up." But no, once you roll out everything, and we'll definitely do some stuff, man.
Nah, just hit me up, and I'll be glad to get on here and talk about the concepts we came up with and why we did it.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you. TD, you got anything before we get out? I know Zoe and Rochelle fell off. Zoe is late. He on the East Coast, so
man, Zoe needs to learn how to stay up late.
Zoe will be up early, man.
No, it's okay. He had flashbacks.
Yes, indeed, man. But like I said, I appreciate you. TD, you got anything before you get out?
No, sir. I say my just, man. I appreciate it. I didn't mention Travis because I don't want to get into it, man. But I'm a very strong advocate in working out, and I learn more and more on how to do it each and every day, and it's almost an addiction for me. So we'll be talking.
No, we can definitely catch up and talk about all that.
Okay.
You know, I look, one thing before we go. One thing. First of all, thank you for having me.
No problem.
But second thing, 6'5" and 8 innings. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, fam, you on the clock, baby.
And I will be sitting there with a smile on my face.
Man, we need to beat them Rattlers, man. Because I know they got.
Hold on, what time do they play tomorrow? No, we play at 3:30. Okay, I'll be down there for the 1 o'clock game. So I might put purple on first, and then take it.
Is that one being streamed?
They all streamed on.
They're all streamed on Smack Digital Network. Yeah, I will be nice. I will be the guy that sits behind the tent, dead center on screen. So if you're all watching, just watch, because I'll be doing this every time something happens. In that 1 o'clock game, not the 3:30 game, the 1 o'clock game.
Good deal, man.
I appreciate y'all. Anytime y'all need me, and Ken, I took care of the other. I sent a message. As soon as I hear back, I'll definitely let you know.
Sounds good. I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate y'all.
Man. We'll see you.
You too. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Travis. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I tell you what, man. We got to be on for a couple more minutes. I just want to run through this real quick. All I want to do, TD, is give a shout out to the coaching staff for the football team, man. They've been doing some major recruiting. I just had to go back and revisit everything, you know, since the portal and all that closed, man. Oh, not even before that, man. I'm just going back looking at what the coaches have added. Added a tight end, Michael Cherry, a cornerback, a safety, Dalen, oh man, D Bright. Anyway, John Brown Jr., defensive line. This is why I went back, TD, because I completely forgot about John Brown. He can come off the edge. He can be in the interior. He's kind of a multifaceted. But when you look at the breakdown of what we lost, so you go back to Darren Bennett. This is the Hayden Hagler replacement. Michael Cherry. This is the Tony McCray replacement, right? You look at the Dalen Bright. This is the Jalen Tate replacement, right? Then you go look at the John Brown Jr. He's an addition to the defensive line. Then when you get to Cameron McCoy, we knew that we wanted to add another quarterback, but he's a great pitcher, so it's going to be a dual commitment coming out of Eastern Michigan. Added quarterback depth, competition at the quarterback position is going to push whoever's going to be the first starter, whoever's going to be the day one starter. They're obviously going to have earned it, right? I still got Jacobian pegged as their QB1, but it's his to lose, in my opinion. If he loses it, then it's on him. But I expect him to be pushed tremendously. But you got Cameron McCoy coming in. But then you add another running back, which I wasn't really expecting. But nevertheless, Coach Gallen is a new running back coach. So usually when you see some coaches come in, they kind of recruit their own guys. And maybe Bryson Moss was in addition to Cameron McCoy, because you got these gentlemen coming down from Detroit, Michigan, to come all the way to Jackson. And you know how it is when you got a bunch of kids getting in the portal. Hey man, I want to go too. You know what I mean? And the coaches see what they can get. Bringing them in, add more depth. Then we add this defensive lineman, Anthony Cunningham Jr. This is your DD replacement, that interior line, that interior line replacement. Bruno Zandamela, 6'8", 315, 320. You're looking at a tackle. We lose Courtney Lyles, and we lose the commitment of Cam Vaughn, but you get a Bruno commitment. So this is a replacement of bodies. Next up, this is the one that kind of caught me off guard, but this is your K Cali replacement right here. K Cali replacement. K Cali into the portal, not able to return. Here comes your safety. So we know Jalen's in the portal. Do the coaches add another cornerback? That's the only question that I do have. Either way, however they choose to go with it, I'm excited about it, man, because it's pretty dope. This kid here, man, is a stud, TD. Talking about a 3-star kid. This one here, safety, Eastern Michigan, had about 43 tackles, had a few pass breakups. He had interception, forced fumble. Some good
like
stats.
A big kid, man. Like he was
he's 6'3". He's a thumper.
Oh, he playing safety? What is he, Steve Atwater?
I sure thought, hey, when you look at go look at his film, the first tackle, he looked like a head buster, man. I ain't BSing. You know what I mean? So I thought this was a great pickup. Let me get his size real quick. I'm gonna make sure I had that right. Go to Eastern Michigan. They might have deleted him off. Hold on. Did they give him? He had 45 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 pass deflections last season. Junior DB. I mean, he's 6'2", 198, 6'2", 200. Playing the safety position. I mean, you add him with Isaias and those gentlemen that are there. Great pickup, man. Great pickup. So, that's the thing about the there you go. I like that too. When you lose someone you lose some of that depth, you go replace that. That's why I was telling people, man, the portal give it, then the portal take it away. The portal, so the portal's full of talent. And you just try to go get what you can get. Yeah, we actually have. What you don't see right now is we already have 3 linebacker commitments. We've already covered that in previous shows. Just an FYI, the Reed Pulliam number 47 is an addition to the linebacker room.
I like him.
Ashton Taylor is a rising, stud within the running within that already. We bring in David Jones, transfer, 3-star transfer from Cincinnati. We add Austin Edmonds from Bryant. I think that's his name. I may have got his name messed up again. I always miss Edmonds from Edwards from Bryant. And then you add you still got Jaden Ward. I'm counting Jaden Ward, TD, until he don't. You know, the guys are going to report at the end of the month, back to school, early June. And I expect him to come in. That's 3 linebackers right there. If we get those 3 linebackers in, we're gonna be just fine. Trust me when I tell you.
What happened to the young man? Well, I guess he's coming, the linebacker that committed from, I think he was from Georgia. The one that joined chorus he did the live with, and his dad came out and he dropped the bomb. Yeah, I think he's from Georgia. Yes, he's from Georgia.
Linebacker,
A linebacker, and he did his signing inside the gym. His dad
he was a
I think Goldmouth.
yeah, he's a freshman. He's gonna probably be a walk on.
Okay.
Yeah, Cam Smith, 6'2", 200. That's correct. So I think we. But when you look at the set that we run, if you run a 4-man front, 2 linebackers, 5 DBs with that safety and that nickel kind of playing inside a little bit to assist with that, I think we'll be fine at the linebacker position with what Coach feels like we have. I got on good faith. I expect to see one more edge rusher added, according to my conversation with Coach Callie James. Not gonna give away anything on that, but you'll see. I just know, just expect a nice pickup on the defensive side of the ball off the edge. So defense is gonna be nasty, man. I'm just telling you guys that they're building a roster to win the Celebration Bowl. It's the only goal. And in order to do that, you got to recruit, you got to have good talent, and you got to develop them and get them on the field. So big FBS size line, we got maybe a couple more. I mean, they still got some offers out there. And I know Coach Brandon Morton and Coach O and the rest of the staff, they're doing a hell of a job, man, filling in the pieces that they feel like they need to shape out the roster completely. And that's not even counting any of the talent from the early signing commitment, any of the freshmen, none of that. That's just the additions, man. I'm just amazed at the rate of speed that they're going with them, and they're still out there hunting. So, making some things shake, man. But I love what they're doing. We're gonna be on the lookout. I would just say expect a couple more to potentially make their way to Jackson, and then I think we'll be done, and then we'll get all of the kids in and start summer workouts, and then we'll be preparing for the fall, man. Just that simple. That's where we at with it. So,
and good deal. I mean, Coach Taylor has taken his vision, man, and not only did he have it on paper inside his head, but he brought it to fruition. And I don't want to. I don't want to use the word proud, but I'm excited for him. I'm glad to see that he's doing what he's doing. I really don't see many weaknesses, a loophole in the team period right now. So I'm
from a standpoint, not from a makeup. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, mindset, we gotta wait and see. And I know you're saying that. I know what you mean. Go ahead.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm extremely happy for he and Coach O and the rest of the staff, man. I'm excited for the season. I really am. I can't say the last time I really just, I always wanted football to come in, but wasn't sure what the Tigers were going to do. But seeing the makeup of the team and the signings and the offers that they have out, man, I'm pretty excited to see what, how it pans out.
Yeah. Everything we need is going to be there. It's going to come down, like we said, to mindset. It's going to come down to how bad we want it, the ability to gel, and just toughness, man. I want a tough, grimy, gritty team that just has a doggish mentality to win. We need winners, man. You got to want winning is a mentality, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything, you got to do everything with the mindset of winning. I believe we got some winners on this team. I believe we have a winning roster. Not gonna do a lot of, like I said, I'm not gonna do a lot of talking about it though, man. They got to go prove it. They got to go make it happen. We ain't crowning nobody. What you did, it don't matter. What you did at your previous school don't mean a hill of beans. How well are you able to come in, be a part of a unit, be a part of a team with one mission and one goal in mind, with the right amount of, work ethic and focus and determination to get to the goal, man. Be the last man standing. And that's going to be the biggest telltale. I think we're past the point, TD, where we worried about players being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you got 1 foot out, I want to push the other one out. That's my mindset. Because if you got 1 foot
in the banana peel,
shit, I'm gonna kick you in your ankle. The one that's inside the room, I'm gonna push that bad baby out there with you. Got to go. Need all hands on deck. All those in the room need to want to be in the room, and let the rest take care of themselves. We wish them well and keep moving on. But I think you're gonna see an aggressive style, man. I'm excited, man. We're gonna get Coach Chris Orr on, the new linebackers coach, pretty soon. Talk about what he's bringing to the staff and his outlook. We'll have him on soon. May even pull him in on Friday. We may pull a double up. But we also coming up, and Travis, as he stated, he's going to help us. We're going to get Coach Richards on the show, hopefully next week. That's the goal. We're going to get A.D. Robinson on there, and then we'll get President Thompson on here as well, man. So we got some heavy hitters coming down the pipe. We're getting there, Ken. We got the right man in charge who knows our tradition. All hands on that. There you go. Let the door. That's right, man. But no. But other than that, man, that's pretty much what I had. I know we wanted to really just spend the bulk of the show talking to Travis, and I think everybody got a lot from what he had to share because of he's the man that's going to take everything that we desired and hoped for from a media standpoint, communications, visuals, graphics, eyes into the program. I think it's going to be 10 times better than what it was. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm excited about the fact that I know that there's going to be a structure in place, man. It's going to be a great team in place doing some wonderful things. Branding is everything, man. Right. We were talking about the color of the uniform. Trust me, if you uniform on your branding is your images, your everything, how you represent yourself, what you look like, the consistency, templates, having all that stuff in place. And trust me, it'll if that stuff is tight, nobody really gives a damn about that other stuff. A few people will, but it ain't gonna be like. But if you have that going on, TD, we talked about the uniforms and all that stuff. But if we're not all over the place in other areas, we got a long way to go. We got a lot that we need to address, man. You talked about some things, and I was talking to Marcus Jones. Shout out to him. We were talking about the idea of using that scoreboard. We've been asking for that for years, and during football games, using videos, man, and film them videos, football, put them on that board, play them videos of them boys coming out saying, "Hey, man, we need y'all to get up off your seat right now, make some noise." You know what I'm saying? It's Thursday.
They used to do that.
We need to start back doing it because that's an easy way to get the crowd engaged. Easy, man. Texas State
tear them down thing we used to do.
Yeah, Texas State did a great job of utilizing their video boards. They had 2, and I think that I don't have any complaints, bro. I really don't. It's very rare that you get an SID that'll get on Twitter and say, "Shoot me all your ideas, whatever you got. My inbox is open." That's rare, man. So that tells you right then and there we're headed for the right direction, and I'm excited, man. So, but anyway, that's all I got, man. Ain't really got much else.
All right, bro. Well, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down, man.
Yes, sir.
Tiger Nation. Man, we love y'all, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, make sure you guys, before you go, listen to me, y'all. Join the channel. We need your channel membership. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Or you join the platinum crew. We got a platinum chat. When we start back dropping this merch next month, we actually gonna get you get a 14% discount off merch. I mean, it's a lot that comes with that package, but we appreciate all the support. We are going to continue to try to raise more funds for the women's basketball donation. We will definitely hone in on that when she comes on the show, and we'll spend that time for that. But other than that, man, we appreciate the support. We'll see you guys back on Friday. As always, man, it's love. I love.
Out.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Great day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that was huge. That's money in the bank for athletic program.
Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million. September to August, let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.